Hey folks, welcome back. My name is Krishna, and this time around we're going to take a look at how you can create items that would appear to be inside an environment. In some of the earlier videos regarding interior environments, I talked about making walls and making floors and ceilings and so forth. This time around I thought we'd just take a look at objects within an environment. And more specifically, I thought I'd focus on something that's fairly simple to put together, which is like a kitchen. And we're going to focus on a perspective view of a kitchen, something that looks like this. So to get things started, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to take advantage of our shape tools. So in the toolbar, you'll see the rectangular shape tool. Just go ahead and drag that out. This is going to represent our refrigerator. The properties that I have here are fill is set to no fill, and stroke is set to black. And I've chosen a 5-pixel solid stroke. So this is going to be the size of our fridge. What we're going to do is we're going to work smart here. We're going to make a copy of this particular layer. So I'll hit Command J, move this over. I'll hit Command T. This is going to be our counter space. And I'm just using a few simple examples here that we can work with. This is not going to be something that will fit every kitchen, but this is the kind of like, this will give you an idea of the workflow. I'll make a copy of this, move it up, and this is going to be our cabinets. Okay, so this is just basically looking at it from a straight-on view. We've got our fridge, we've got our cabinets up above, and we have our countertop. What I'd like to do now is I'd like to apply a grid to each of these items. In my previous videos, we talked about making a grid and saving it into your library in Photoshop. So I've got this grid already saved here. I can simply drag this grid out, and I can position the grid in such a way that it fits inside the space. I'll hit return. And I'm going to actually make the grid. I'll duplicate it here, and I'll just have it extend like this. I'll merge the two layers by hitting Command E, get rid of the excess, make a copy of this. I'm using Command J to make a copy. I'll get rid of the excess, make another grid by hitting Command J, Command T. You can rotate this and use this for the fridge. So I'll just scale this up. And then I'll get rid of the parts that I don't need. So let me just move this over like so. Now we've got grids for these objects. Let's merge all of these layers together. And the way we can do that is we can select the topmost layer and the bottommost layer. We'll hit Command E. So everything appears on one layer. We've got the outlines along with the grids. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use the perspective tool. We'll hit Command T. We'll choose perspective. We'll just grab one of the corners out like so. And then we'll hit return. There's a few little fringe elements here. We don't really care about that, so we'll just get rid of it. I'll make a copy of this layer by hitting Command J. And on the bottom copy, I'll just offset it. I'll hit Command T. Scale it down. Maybe not that much, but just enough to where we can see that sense of perspective. And I'll drop the opacity. So now I've got basically the front parts that are facing us, then the parts of the individual components that are basically resting against the wall. So now what I'd like to do is I'd like to use my ruler, and I'll make a brand new layer up above, use my brush tool, and essentially block out the outlines for these objects. And I'm just going to go ahead and do a few of these. I'm not going to do the fridge because it works the same exact way, but I think once you see this technique, you'll be able to practice it and you'll be able to create this facade of a kitchen area. So I'm going to connect the corners. Like so. I'll do the countertops next. I find that when I'm using a ruler, sometimes it's difficult to actually see exactly where your stylus is going to make its mark. So I have to close one of my eyes, and that helps me see things, a little bit better. It helps kind of fix a little bit of the parallax effect that you might get when you're drawing on a digital screen. So here we go. And there, we're going to make a connection right here between these 2 points. There we go. And there we go. The fridge also works the same way. Maybe just for giggles, I'll just draw a little bit of the fridge here. I'll just draw the part that is going to be visible. I'm going to connect the back corner of the back grid to the front part. So matching the corners. And only drawing what I see. I'm going to keep everything as a kind of a box. I'm not going to round anything off here because I just want you to get an idea of like how this works in the most basic way. Okay, so I've got basically all of my elements blocked out. I can hide the back view and I'm left with the front grid. I can take that front grid, I can drop its opacity. This allows me to see the grid, and I can make a new layer and draw on top of that. So for example, all I need to do now is basically follow the lines that I have from this grid. This is going to be my dishwasher. And it has a little bit of an offset. And I'll draw the dishwasher mechanism here. There might be a handle, and we might have some cabinets. And these grids, even if I'm not necessarily following those lines exactly, I'm matching the angle. And then I can draw the handles and continue so on and so forth. Maybe give this a little bit more thickness and continue along that route. So what this does is it really helps you have a framework for which you can then create other objects. Now, if I wanted to add something like, I don't know, like a cereal box, I can then just riff on top of that and just kind of throw that in there. Or, something else like a plate. You can use grids pretty much everywhere, but the reason why I like using grids here is it allows me to easily place those lines that I care about. I don't have to use every single line on the grid, but those lines that I do use can help me make sure that I'm getting a believable looking perspective. And then maybe this will be like a cabinet handle. And you can go on and add whatever details you want from there. So this is pretty powerful. It's a very simple way of looking at things. If you wanted to change the angle, or you wanted to go ahead and have like a different, adjustment to your perspective, you can always play with the skew and distort to change the angle. I just chose a very simple example that I think is good for basic understanding. But if you wanted to kind of, make it a little bit different, you do have the transform skew and the transform distort that can also be used in very interesting ways. So if you found some value in this video, please give it a thumbs up so more folks can find it. I appreciate and value each and every one of you that are watching this video. If you have any suggestions for future topics, or you have any questions after watching this video, please don't hesitate to drop those in the comments below. And if you made it this far, let me know where you're watching this video from, and have a great rest of your week, and I will catch you in the next video. See ya.